Hi everyone and welcome to the channel where you can learn Russian with a native speaker. My name is Daria and in this video we're going to learn some tricky Russian words which even native Russian speakers pronounce incorrectly and make mistakes in them. But before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell button below so you don't miss any new videos that will help you to learn more about the Russian language and the Russian culture as well. So you've probably heard that it's almost impossible to guess which syllable the stress in a word will be on. That's because the stress placement in the Russian language isn't fixed. So it means that almost every syllable in a word can be stressed. And if you come across a new word, you should always look it up in the dictionary to make sure you pronounce it correctly. But native Russian speakers don't usually look up in dictionaries to check a word's stress. We, let's say, trust others when they pronounce a word and repeat it after them. And one more thing. Sometimes the incorrect pronunciation of a certain word is common for a certain region in the country or city. So I've divided the words we're going to talk about in this video into two groups. The first group contains the words which Russian speakers pronounce incorrectly, and this is the case where it's better not to copy the natives. And the second group contains words which Russian speakers also pronounce incorrectly, but it's weird to pronounce them correctly. And here we come across the difference between the conversational Russian language and the literary one. And now let's have a closer look at the first group. Remember, try to pronounce these words correctly and don't repeat after the native speakers when they make mistakes there. And the first word in our first group is звонить. Звонить. This actually means to call someone on the phone. And when Russians say она звонит, that means she calls, they usually change the stress into the first syllable. Она звонит. Она звонит. Don't repeat this variant, it's incorrect, but you can hear that pronunciation of the word almost everywhere. I remember when I was at school, there was a popular ringtone for cell phones which started with the words Mama звонит. Mama звонит. And this ringtone actually helped me to learn the right pronunciation of the word, and that's why I knew how I shouldn't pronounce this word. And here's a little verse that can help you to remember how to pronounce the word correctly. У меня зазвонил телефон. Кто говорит? Слон. Let's translate this verse. My telephone rang. Who's calling? An elephant. If you read this verse in Russian, it has a certain kind of rhyme. Телефон, слон, and it's easier to learn the verse and the right pronunciation of the word as well. The next word is a word торты. Торты. Торты means cakes. Most Russian speakers pronounce this word as торты. Tarte, with a stress on the last syllable, but it's not correct. And here's a verse that will help you to remember how to pronounce this word correctly. В музее натюрморты, на них цветы и торты. В музее натюрморты, на них цветы и торты. Can you hear the rhyme here? So let's try to translate this verse into English. The word натюрморты is usually translated as a still life in English, but we can also change the word натюрморты into pictures because it's easier. There are some pictures in a museum, and on these pictures there are flowers and cakes. Remember, I'm not giving you the literal translation of these verses and giving you the word by word translation. It is also called like studying translation because we translate word by word in order to get the real meaning of the word. Our third word is стаканы. Стаканы. Стаканы means glasses. And in some regions, people pronounce this word as стаканы. Стаканы. With the stress on the last syllable, but it's not right. You should pronounce стаканы. Стаканы. And here's a verse that will help you to learn how to pronounce the word, although it's a little bit funny. Попали тараканы в красивые стаканы. Попали тараканы в красивые стаканы. Let's translate this one. Black beetles found themselves in beautiful glasses. The next word is the word Svokla. Svokla. It's translated as beet in the English language, and most Russian people pronounce it as Svokla. Svokla. But remember, don't repeat after the natives. When we have the yo letter, the stress placement will always be on this letter. Svokla. Svokla. And let's have a closer look at our rhyme. Svokla плакать начала, до корней промокла. Я, ребята, не свекла. Я, ребята, свекла. Свекла плакать начала, до корней промокла. Я, ребята, не свекла. Я, ребята, свекла. A beet started crying and was wet to its roots. Guys, I'm not svekla. Guys, I'm svokla. The next word in this group is the word Tufla. Tufla. And some Russian people pronounce it as Tufla. Tufla. But it sounds very weird. Tufla means a shoe. Слово туфля я прочту с ударением на ту. Слово туфля я прочту с ударением на ту. And let's have a closer look at our translation. The word tufla I will read and stress the first syllable tu. And mind how I pronounce the second line. I don't pronounce it separately, с ударением. I like stick the preposition to the next word, с ударением. С ударением. I pronounce them together. The next word is a word Cressivia. Cressivia. Красивый is an adjective beautiful. But Cressivia is the same adjective but in a comparative degree, more beautiful. And I kind of understand why most Russian people make mistake while pronouncing this word, because I do too. I make mistakes in this word all the time. I don't remember which syllable to place the stress on, and it happens because of the placement pattern in the comparative degree of adjectives. When we put adjectives in a comparative degree, we usually stress the last syllable of the word. Умный, умнее, веселый, веселее. And that's why we want to stress the last syllable in the word Cressivia. But here is the thing. The word Cressivy is an exception. There are lots of exceptions in the Russian language, maybe even more than the rules. So try to remember that the word красивый is an exception, and we should stress the second syllable of the word. Cressivia, Cressivia. And here's a rhyme. Тот из нас счастливее, в ком душа красивее. Тот из нас счастливее, в ком душа красивее. That of us is happier who has a more beautiful soul. And the last word in this group is шевель. Шевель. Шевель is actually a plant with the leaves that taste bitter. It's sorrel in English. Most Russian people get used to stress the first syllable in this word and pronounce it as щавель. Щавель. But don't do that. Say шевель. Шевель. And here's a rhyme. Прилетел мохнатый шмель и уселся на щавель. Прилетел мохнатый шмель и уселся на щавель. And let's try to translate this one. Fuzzy bumblebee arrive and sit on a sorrel. And sit on a sorrel. Уселся, to sit. And here's the time to move on to the second group of the words. Remember that Russian people usually make mistakes while pronouncing these words, but to pronounce these words correctly sounds weird for the Russian ear, and in our everyday conversations, in conversational Russian, we don't usually pronounce the words like this. And the first word here is the word Iskra. Iskra. Iskra is a small piece of burning material produced by fire. It's translated as a spark in English. We get used to pronounce this word as Iskra. Iskra. And let's look at the rhyme here. Отлетела от костра и погасла быстро. Коль неверно, то искра, если верно, искра. Отлетела от костра и погасла быстро. Коль неверно, то искра, если верно, искра. A spark bounced off the fire and faded fast. Погасла быстро, faded fast. I've translated the word коль as because it's not right to say искра when there is the right variant Iskra. And in this case, I couldn't translate the last two lines as a word-by-word translation because it sounds very weird in English. The next word is a word облегчить. Облегчить. It means to simplify something or to make something easier or just less complicated, to simplify. And we usually pronounce this word as облегчить, облегчить, with the stress on the second syllable here, облегчить, in our everyday conversation. But that's not right. And let's learn the rhyme. Не просто ударение изучить, стихи задачу могут облегчить. Не просто ударение заучить, стихи задачу могут облегчить. Let's look at the translation of this verse, of this rhyme. Не просто ударение заучить. So не просто means it's hard. So it's not a simple thing to do to learn stress placements, especially in Russian. So it's hard, it's difficult to learn stress placements. But verses can help us with it. Стихи задачу могут облегчить. If you look the word задача in the Russian dictionary, you will probably find the translation exercise. But the exercise is something that we do in a mathematics, and this word also has another meaning. Задача is something that you have to get through, something that you have to accomplish. We can also translate the word задача as a problem. Verses can help us to overcome that problem, that difficulty. The next word is an adverb. Мастерски. Мастерски. It means that you do something very well. You are good at that. But it's not an adjective, it's an adverb. You do it skillfully. And Russian people usually stress the first syllable in the word. Мастерски. Мастерски. Let's look at the rhyme. It's very funny. Let's look at the rhyme. It's very funny. Он потер слегка виски, выпил виски мастерски. Он потер слегка, слегка, but I pronounce g and k as a one sound. Ка, ка, слегка. Виски, выпил виски мастерски. Let's look at the translation. Он потер слегка виски. He rubbed his temples a little bit, слегка, a little bit, и выпил, or just выпил виски, and drank whiskey, мастерски, I've translated as a professional, or he drank whiskey skillfully. The next word is a word закупорить. Закупорить. And закупорить means that when you close a container or a bottle with something that stops water or air from coming in and coming out. Or so you just close something or seal it up. Russian native speakers usually pronounce this word as закупорить. Закупорить. Let's look at our rhyme. Гном собрал в лесу опилки, закупорил, нет, и закупорил бутылки. Гном собрал в лесу опилки и закупорил бутылки. Гном собрал в лесу опилки и закупорил бутылки. So he gathered these sawdust, опилки, sawdust, in the forest, в лесу, and then he just sealed them up in bottles. And when we talk about the second group, I think it's good, it's great to know how to pronounce these words correctly, and sometimes it's okay to break the rules and just repeat after the native speakers and pronounce the words incorrectly as they used to, in order not to sound weird or something like that. But you still should do that intentionally. And even if you make lots of mistakes with the stress placement, it's okay. You're just learning, and you're doing something great. You're learning another language. You're getting to know another culture, and it could be difficult sometimes, and it's okay to make mistakes. So after watching this video, you probably know that lots of Russian people make mistakes, and even the native speakers don't even know how to pronounce the words. But you know what? Sometimes it doesn't matter. The thing that matters is that you can still communicate with another person on his or her language, and you're showing lots of respect to this person because you're speaking his mother tongue. Know that you're doing something great. Thanks guys for watching this video. I hope it was interesting and useful for your Russian language, and see you again in the next video. Bye!